Get to it.
It's specifically for you.
Okay.
It's for both you guys, but especially for you.
Okay.
We're living in super volatile times, especially for women and people of color. And I want to know how a comedy show like Brooklyn Nine-Nine can help us cope and heal and kind of get us through this. What I call like the beginning of the dark ages.
Yes. Well, I want to say this too. Yes, it's volatile, but it's necessary. See, this time, anytime you have change that's going for the good, there's rumbling. There's an earthquake in LA. You know what I mean? Things are adjusting. I think we don't need to look at it as a negative thing, but it's a thing when people are demanding power. There's a shift. There's movement, and it's gotta happen. It's not comfortable. It's never comfortable, but it is necessary. And I think, especially what's going on with like I said, with media, and we say people of color, and with what's going on with Me Too, and women in the industry. I mean, first of all, you're not going backward. Not after this. It's not going backwards. It's not going to go back to the way it was. So that can anger people and make people messed up. But a comedy like what we do, remember, entertainment does not solve problems. And this is what I want to say.
I was just gonna add to that. Just that, like, the first thing you got to remember is that this is a comedy show.
Yes.
This is a comedy show first, and I think one of the advantages that the writers have made is to kind of earn our right at the table to have issue episodes. And I think you don't come in there in the first season. They wait until the fourth season, and that's because we are a comedy show first. That being said, we're in a great position to present a perspective of the world that is very inclusive as well as funny. And so I think that's where we make those leaps without being too sanctimonious or too preachy. And I think that makes these episodes more palatable to an audience. They're like, okay, they're not ramming it down our throat, and they didn't come out here first season to tell us how to talk to women or how to, you know what I mean? So it's, I think that's, you got to remember that the comedy is kind of why we started first.
Well, I hear you.
Can you talk about like the kind of ethos that these producers have brought to their entire comedy universe, where it's much more about, there's a lot more kindness in this comedy than there would be, in Everybody Loves Raymond, where it's about pushing down or making fun of things.
Yeah, I think inclusive humor that's not mean-spirited can survive and can work, and we've proved it. And I think it's because you find that the things that are wrong with people don't have to be an obstacle. They can be helpful in showing the differences in each other, and that's a good thing. Jump on that. I kind of my train of thought. Like I was on, but
my thing is that when you look at, it's harder to not be demeaning. I mean, a cheap joke is just that. It's cheap, and it's a cheap laugh, and it's easy. It's just like I can just talk about what's wrong with you, and somebody in the room will laugh. But doesn't take skill. And when I look at Brooklyn Nine-Nine, it takes a lot of skill to do what we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of skill to have everybody feeling like, oh wow, I'm still intact. And I laugh.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to blow off my arm and man, somebody didn't have to go down, And that takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. Like when you get it, this is why we're here. This is why it's 7 seasons. This is why people have embraced us, and we've become part of culture now, simply because of that respect. Because it's hard. It's very, very
It's
hard.
almost like you don't have to use the people to make fun of the other people. You can use the dilemma to make fun of the people that they're in. The dilemma that they're in makes fun of the people.
Yeah.
So I recently saw a clip from the efficiency episode where you were kind of like trying to make everything look better. And but also I found that, for the women, talking about women, kind of the women got classified in a certain way. Is that then put them in a spot and expand on who they are? I mean, it was like, well, she is this type of person, and she's always angry, and she's this. And it's like, is she always angry? Is that just the character, or does that character grow and change and expand on herself? Anyway, that's just a thought when I was watching it.
Okay. He's back.
I was gonna ask, so you guys have theme episodes that are always my favorite. Because, you have different contests. You have like every year, you of course have to get that belt.
Yeah.
It escalates.
Yeah.
It escalates.
The heist. I got the heist last week. I said, you know what? No, that's when they wrote that in. I was like, damn it! I still
I was
got
so
bragging
jealous.
rights on it. I do.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's got to be coming. Full year's got to be coming.
Because of this January career, I'm like, oh, there's going to be no more.
Yeah, that's the thing is, so how does it work on your side? Like when you guys are filming,
Right.
as it escalates, does it escalate behind the scenes as well?
Really, a little bit.
I mean-
we're joking about it.
Yeah, we know it's written,
yeah.
but at the same time, it's like they wrote it like this.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. It's like I got one. It's like, right.
No, it's but again, we're a fam, and the one thing is Brooklyn Nine-Nine is a safe place for comedy. Meaning, I've been places where you say a joke and you're cut down, like you don't ever say it again. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden it's not safe, and then all of a sudden the show's not funny.
Well, it's like the number one on the call sheet. You're saying isn't getting the joke.
Well, yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, year two, we can do whatever we want and try it. And if it works, it's like,
But
go.
I think it begins also with our number one on the call sheet.
Yep.
Andy has created an atmosphere that he's happiest when he has his teammates getting the ball and getting the joke. He's not one, because he comes from an ensemble background and is a team player. And so if you have someone like that, number one call sheet, that just triples down.
Yeah.
You're not going to be the guy who's going to be, pulling an attitude and being like, I don't have all the jokes. Dude, the number one on the call sheet isn't getting all the jokes. What are you talking about? So he sets a nice tone, Andy.
I mean, I gotta say this. Even with the episode that we did, all about the profiling, racial profiling, the whole thing, he actually stepped back and said, "I'm out of it. I literally am the B story in this episode." You don't understand how huge that is in the world of television for the star of the show to take a B story and say, you know what, you guys run with that. You know what I mean? And then he did the same thing with Rosa's show.
That's right.
When she came out, he's like, I'm the B story now. That's indicative of who he is. And it's like, wow, man. Makes him more powerful.
It's not only just a sign of like a good person, but also a powerful storyteller.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.